We're going to step into level 3 of the cloud ecosystem, as Bill McNee presented it this morning. Cloud business solutions, what most people have historically called SaaS. And as Bill mentioned, cloud business solutions and business applications in the cloud is becoming so much more than just software as a service. So I've asked these individuals to come and talk to us about taking business applications from the fringe to the core.
IT is participating in the procurement process now of SaaS and cloud a lot more holistically than you would see before. I mean, you'd see years ago, it was, celebrated that you could sell around IT, and people started questioning the evolving role that IT would play. I think now it's a lot more realizing that IT, should be driving this and should be in a driver's seat type of position. And so, like from our perspective, we're starting to see our partners, other SaaS providers who are embedding Boomi into their sales. They're starting to get a lot more sophisticated questions than they were before. Before it might be, do you have an API? Yep. Okay, cool. Now it's like, what's your data security policy? What's your, how do you handle the following, use cases and characteristics of much more complex integration scenarios? And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a sign of a maturing of an industry and a level of adoption and a level of taking it serious. And most importantly, the IT group not feeling threatened, which is totally the wrong type of behavior that I think was starting to propagate for a while.
Description of IT being involved in SaaS, I think, is key. I think, a lot of our internal services have suffered because they've been heavily customized, and I think that's been driven by the business asking for more and more features. And I think our biggest win we get out of software as a service is a discipline about how we leverage those systems and an agility that enables us to actually be more responsive to what the business is asking for in terms of functionality within the constraints of that, within the constraints of that system. So, we've done a lot of Salesforce work, and the reason it's so popular now within the organization is not only that it's functionally rich, probably much richer than the Siebel thing we had before, but it's also, adding features with Force.com and integrated into that is so much faster than it ever would in the past. And, you talked about, someone, CEO saying you wanted an ERP system. We're actually now looking at an overall architecture for MIS, which is entirely cloud-based, and increasingly expecting our cloud vendors to actually work together. Because that's, we want them to solve those integration issues so that we can even further abstract away from what we deal with. So essentially we want an MIS, software as a service.
Because if you're looking at these long-term cloud relationships, you need to make sure that they are solid. Because some people may view this as another trend like .com, but cloud is very different from .com. .com you could invent in your garage. Cloud takes deep pockets, deep understanding of technology, and long-term commitment. And that we didn't have that in the .com era. We require that in the cloud era. And so during your due diligence process, you need to check disaster recovery, security, financial viability, all of those things, and you have to be very skilled at that.
It depends on what the solutions are we're coming with. If you look at our landscape and our business solution and our business areas, we are readjusting now. Instead of looking at what the company or the organizations or the sales directors want, we are looking actually at what are our business markets, our business goals, and things like that.
It's not that customization goes away, it's more that the way you customize is part of the product's functionality now. So it's the really glad that we're all talking about it so much, because it really is the key to what this kind of change in IT is all about. Because the point about if I can't take the upgrade, like what am I paying maintenance for? I mean, that really is what's driving us all to look at this world. And so if you think about that, the classic 80-20 paradox everybody talks about, which is that we spend 80% of our IT budget maintaining the stuff we already have and only 20% on being able to buy SaaS applications. Today, it's because of problems with complexities with customizations, not just that. But so kind of, to me, kind of the least interesting thing is just the idea of just taking the same old app and putting it in a new data center, because it isn't really addressing that customization point. It's really saying, either someone else is going to customize it for you now, or you're going to be remoting into a different data center to do it. It's really more around by a SaaS vendor architecting what they do to be multi-tenant, which is everybody's using the same infrastructure. You're forcing the vendor to solve customization as part of their core architecture. You're forcing the vendor to go, okay, look, if I'm going to do this, then I can't be doing one-off customer work ever. I have to think about every problem I solve as I'm solving it once, and my collective customer base is benefiting from it. So customization